All right. Good morning. Good morning. It's me, Shakeitha Patterson, and I am here to talk about what is the purpose of an autoresponder. So we're just going to wait here for just a little bit for Facebook to do its thing. Good morning, Jeffrey. How are you doing this morning? If you can for me, put a 1 in the chat box for live, and for those who will be watching on the replay, number 2. And tell me where you're from. Give me some feedback this morning. Hope everything is well with you as you are starting your day. But today I will be talking about what is the purpose of an autoresponder. So just giving a little bit time for Facebook to do its thing. But like I said, I don't like to waste a whole bunch of time because I don't want to lose the attention of everybody on here, because like I said, everybody's attention span is very short, especially when it's nothing that really interests them. But however, good morning, Joseph. How are you doing today? If you can for me, put a 1 in the chat box for me, the comment section. Let me know that you're live, and how are you doing on this morning? Again, I will be going over what is the purpose of an autoresponder. Because autoresponder is something that we need, especially if we are in business and if we are collecting emails for a list. So where do those emails got to go? They got to go to an autoresponder so that you don't have to constantly send emails out yourself, so you can automatically reply to your opt-ins. So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and get started. And those of you, like I said, who will be watching the replay, thank you so much. And again, I am Shakeitha Patterson. And again, what is the purpose of an autoresponder? Okay, let's start by saying the purpose of an autoresponder is going to be different for each person. Some might be trying to make product sales. Some might be trying to sell a service. Others may simply be trying to build a long-term relationship to sell a product or service down the road. In any case, we can chop this down into one single coherent sentence. The purpose of any autoresponder is to move each prospect deeper into your funnel. And basically a funnel is just kind of like what it says. You got the big top, and then it goes down to a narrow funnel, which basically goes deeper into your sales. I just lost my train of go deeper down to the sales funnel. But in any event, so you're not basically trying to make friends. You're not trying to simply be on top of the mind of the person. You are not trying to build your brand. Those may be byproducts, but they're not the number one focus. The only purpose of an autoresponder is to move the prospect deeper into your funnel. And yes, it may include those things I just mentioned, like being on top of the mind and building a brand, because we know that building a brand is really important, especially like if you're on social media for whatever, for that purpose or a reason. But each email in your sequence must have a specific reason for being there, and it must do something to move the prospect deeper into your funnel. Maybe that's building trust so they buy your product, or establish a bond so they can trust you enough to hire you for a service, perhaps, maybe. Or whatever it is, that is your number one goal. Let's see here. And that's where we begin. Step 1 is determine your goal. So in everything, we have to have goals, right? Everything has to have a goal. And we have a goal is basically something that we are reaching for. Something like, almost like a checklist. So something we want to accomplish. So set the goal and determine your goal. So before you write a single word, you must understand the end goal. If you want to sell products, you need to have that goal clearly submitted in your mind. If you want to sell a service, you'll be taking a different approach and need to know what that is. So figuring out your goal is fairly simple. Do you want to sell products? Do you want to establish a long-term relationship? Do you want to create buzz about your business? Do you want to launch a new product? Do you want to become a dominant industry leader? All 5 of these will require different strategy. So without knowing your end goal, it is impossible to know what strategy will work best for you. So Step number 2. Determine your strategy, as we just talked about. Each 5 of those things require a strategy. So your strategy is going to differ based on the goal you're trying to reach. Someone like a realtor is going to require less communication as compared to someone selling an information product. A provider of cleaning service to business owners is going to require a different tone than someone selling kids' birthday parties to parents. In all cases, though, there are 5 crucial hot buttons you must include for maximum effectiveness. So, number 1, proof and credibility. People don't want to deal with amateurs. If you want an effective autoresponder, you must have proof in nearly every single communication. There are many different ways to show proof, such as using testimonials, stories, media appearance, and dozens more. So here's one I love using. The subject line for this email would be something along the lines of, "Help me congratulate Charlie," or whatever name you want to put there. The email would then go like this. "Hey, first name, just wanted to write you quick and help me congratulate Charlie, he just purchased whatever the product name is, spent about an hour going through the material and started to implement. Specifically, he implemented a technique in Module 2 that shows you how to insert the benefit your target audience wants to achieve without some type of pain point, with some type of pain point. His results, just 1 week later, he inserts your benefit your target audience want to achieve. And then after this, you transition into how the prospect can do the same. Good morning, Marshawn. Gee, I haven't seen you in a while. Good morning, Larry Ernestine Moore. Good morning, Bridget. Hope everyone is having a great and wonderful day. And basically what I'm going over is what is the purpose of a autoresponder. Sorry, my screen is over here on this side, so I got 3 screens going on. So anyway, thanks for joining. Thank you, Matt Gilbert. Thanks for joining. But as I said, going over what is the purpose of an autoresponder. So we're into number 2, trust. And basically the world is becoming a much less trustworthy place, which basically has been a trustworthy place for a long time. But stories are a fantastic way to show that you're trustworthy. In my own emails, I show potential clients I'm trustworthy by being non-pushy, citing examples of other copywriters who mistreat their clients in many other ways. Here's one example I love to use. Feel free to fit it to your own needs. Excuse me. Says, I just got off the phone with a customer or a client. They were complaining to me about the lack of integrity in our industry. I agree. I won't name names, but they told me how they caught one of my competitors in a flat-out lie. Apparently, my competitor, insert whatever your competitor lied about, not your competitor. Look, I don't want to see that happen to you. I think that kind of behavior is sickening. And then you transition into why you are trustworthy, citing a specific example. 3, consistency. And even, we talk about consistency a lot. Even being on social media, we have to be consistent, especially in our content. If we're posting, we should continue to post. And this is not just for, people, when we talk about even the algorithm. But I'm not going to get into that, just kind of, just talking about consistency. You got to be consistent in everything that you do. So you'll want to create consistency because consistency mentally creates trust. Think about the people you see most often. Do you trust them more or less than those you don't see as much? Correct. However, consistency doesn't mean you have to send an email every single day. It can be once per day, once per week, once per month. In virtually every case, the more frequent the better. Just be consistent about it. Number 4. And basically that is up under step number 2 of determining your strategy. So step number 4, leadership. People are silently begging to be led. Being a leader in your industry creates authority, which makes people trust you. As you can tell, this is all about trust. An easy way to become a leader in the minds of prospects is to show examples of proof. See how this all ties together. Followed by telling them specifically what to do, they'll do it. Number 5, personality. Nobody likes a boring, slow-talking drag of a person. Oh my God, is that me? No. You develop deeper relationships with people who have personality and charisma. The way to do this in email is to look closely at your own. That's my ring going on. So the way to do this in emails is to look closely at your own personality. I'm like all tongue-tied here. And exaggerate the traits which stand out the most. For example, if you have a strange fetish for foot rubs, talk about them. It may sound strong. It may sound strange, but it works. So, and we're going into step number 3. No, not now. Step number 3, map your sequence. Once you solidify your strategy, the next step is to map your autoresponder sequence. One of the questions you'll want to ask first is, how long should my autoresponder sequence be? If you're writing the sequence yourself, it's easy to make it long. I personally have well over 100 in my sequence. And of course, you guys, this is not something I wrote. This is something I found. But it was really good information, so of course it's not me. But if you need to hire a copyright to do it, you need to estimate the ROI, which is the return on investment you'll get. For example, it may make sense to do 10 to 20, but after 20, the ROI, return on investment, begins to drop, and you could spend your money better elsewhere. And just to speak about a copyright, I actually myself had spent $2,500 for somebody to do copyright, and that is like extremely expensive. So if you can find, I would say when it comes to copyright sequence, if you can find someone on Fiverr and get a little bit cheaper, that is good. But they charge you like $1 a word. Some charge you $3 a word. So if you are a good writer, I say write it yourself. If not, go to Fiverr or one of those little sites that you can get someone to do a copyright for you that's less expensive. So only you can know the answer to that when it comes to spending your money, as far as how much you're going to spend for copywriting. So let's pretend you're going to create 24 over the span of 6 months, or roughly 1 message per week. What you'll do next is write down at least one persuasion trigger, results you gotten, or a client testimony, trust building, etc., and mark it next to that week. Do this for each week. If possible, try to find a story which incorporates that week's trigger. They work wonders. Here's a quick example. Week 1, integrity. Week 2, results. Week 3, implied credibility, and etc., etc. So let's go into step 4, write your emails. Excuse me. This is pretty self-explanatory. By now, you have your goal, your strategy, and your sequence all created. Now it's time to start churning out those emails. This is your first time. You'll want to be fully focused. Grab a cup of coffee, go find a quiet place, and write. You will get distracted, and that's me. I get distracted pretty easy. Don't worry about it. It's normal. As a writer, I can roughly for 30 to 40 minutes straight before my mind begins to wander. That doesn't take long for me. My mind wanders pretty quickly, but that's after years of practice. Take breaks often, but do not interrupt a good flow. Stay if you fall into one. If you fall into one, pretty much just keep going. And basically, highly recommend downloading a lot of classical music and listen to it while you write. Having ambient music in the background helps keep you focused so you can write faster and more clearly. Classical music works because it has no words that can distract you from the words you're writing. The easiest way to overcome writer's block is to realize that writer's block doesn't exist. It's an excuse for people who do not want to work. If you find your mind blocked, if you find my mind just blocked, write blah 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 until more ideas start pouring out. That's my sound strange. That may sound strange, but trust me, it works. So let's go on to step number 5, and I do believe that is the last step of what is the purpose of an autoresponder. So let's get to it and let's wrap this up. I am 16 minutes into this video, and of course, like I said, I don't like to take up a lot of time. And now it is test and tweak time for step number 5. So the final step is loading your emails into your autoresponder sequence and putting people into the funnel. Let this run for a while, weeks for some, months for others, depending on the amount of leads you get, and then begin looking at it closely. Here's what you should look for. Low open rates. If your average open rate is 25%, yet one email has 10% open rate, test a new subject line. Low click-through rates. Same as above. Find the average for all of your emails. Then look for emails with click-through rates that are lower than average. Then come up with new ways to increase that click-through rate, such as shorten the email, make the links more noticeable, add more links, or even putting arrows pointing to the links, and test your idea. Number 3, high unsubscribe rates. This depends on your style. Some people like to practice repulsion marketing, Howard Stern, for example, and attract only very specific people. In this case, if you have a I can't even get the word out, purposely offensive email, and it gets a lot of unsubscribes, what you're doing is repelling the people who won't buy anything and attract those who will. However, if this is something you aren't comfortable with doing, it works like gang. I'm tongue tied today, right? It's like gangbusters, but it's not for everyone. Look for emails with high unsubscribe rates and find out why that is. At this point, you should see your sales increase. If you have a service business, your business will be more automated than ever and getting better results. So test it out and let me know in the comments below. Or you can just come back to this video and let me know. So, and this was basically by Jerry Reeves, who wrote this piece about what's the purpose of an autoresponder, and it was really great points. I liked it. I hope you enjoyed it, and I really hope that you can actually use these points. Go back and listen to the video, or you can just go look up what's the purpose of an autoresponder, and it really has some really good points, and just try it out. And like I said, there's a lot of things that you can actually do with a autoresponder, and yes, and getting into an autoresponder and just pretty much talking about what I do as far as creating leads. We also have, a autoresponder in place that comes with, our whole package deal. So like I said, if you are someone who is looking to build leads, need an autoresponder, and also need traffic, so leads, autoresponder, traffic, we all need those for our business. Just comment in the comment section below, and I can send you a link and show you how you can build a list and get all those things all together. I am so glad that you came and listened to me stumble through this live this morning trying to read. I'm telling you, I'm horrible when it comes to reading and talking at the same time. You know, just like people can't chew bubblegum and walk at the same time. Hey, that would be me. So in any event, I thank you for tuning in. And again, if you are watching live, 1 for live and 2 for the replay. Again, thank you again. I'm Shakeitha Patterson, and as always, God's happiness in your life. I love it, and I will talk to you soon. Have a great day.